I'm just gonna pretend like I'm teaching to you, and then maybe I won't feel so weird.
Okay.
Because it's just really weird to just talk to the camera. So, and we can cut this part.
Yeah.
So that it's not, you know, maybe more weird. I'm still thinking. I have to gather myself. Okay. What we're gonna do today is a that part's gonna get cut. Okay. Hey, what we're gonna do today is a seated, mostly seated practice, and it's gonna be sort of equally a little bit of stretching and lengthening for both your back and your so we're looking at the whole core, which is essentially the entire trunk of your body. And so what we kind of want to work on today is a seated, really gentle. So if you are working with an injury that you are in recovery from, this should be a really safe practice for you to do. If you are working through some chronic pain issues, this should be something that you can do and not have any trouble afterward, and hopefully not exacerbate any pain that you already have. And a quick note before I get started, always, we want to feel better after we practice than we did when we began. So it is up to you. It's your job to be mindful and be thoughtful and feel into your body. And if something doesn't feel right or makes you make a face, gives you this little like grimace, stop, okay? There's always something else that we can find that we can do. So in the interest of staying in my 30-minute time frame that I'm trying to work with, I want to go ahead and get started. And as always, when we get started for our practice, just take a second to stop before you start and let everything around you and within you become still for just a moment. And remember that you can always start over anytime. You can start this practice over. You can start your day over. You can, at any moment, you can start your life over. This is the first minute of the rest of my life. This is the beginning. Nothing that's happened in my day until now is important, matters. We're going to let it all go. Maybe we're just going to start fresh right here. So start in this moment after we stop. Maybe close your eyes for a second. Feel into your seat where you have that sort of strength and stability from the ground that you're sitting on, that gives you this sort of base for your spine to lift out of. And of course, we want to let our vertebrae just stack really naturally. And when we do that, our spine naturally moves into its natural curvature and should be ideally really well balanced. Tune into that breath for just 2 more breaths. In, out. 1 more in. Out. And then let's start with just some really simple spinal movement. We're just going to do a seated cat-cow, and I like to hold onto my knees so I can use my hands to just pull my chest forward a little bit. So we inhale, chest moves forward, your back moves into extension for your inhale, and then for your exhale, your spine rounds back like you're trying to push the alien out from the center of your spine. And then inhaling, coming back into that spinal extension, and then rounding into that flexion. And just inhaling, come on, and exhaling, just moving back and forth and feeling into the different areas of your spine as we get into this motion, just back and forth and back. And a couple more rounds, exhaling and in, and exhaling and in. Are you for real right now? Exhaling and in, and just back to a neutral spine. And then let's start to work into the space around our shoulders and chest. And so hands are going to reach behind you, fingers interlace. You're just going to squeeze those knuckles toward the floor behind you. And as we do so, just think about sort of bringing those front ribs back in. So you're protecting that little solar plexus. And take an inhale here. Think about moving your knuckles down toward the floor. Exhale. 1 more inhale. And then release. Exhale. Hands are going to come around in front. You're just going to wrap that right elbow underneath your left. Yeah. And move those elbows just out in front of your shoulders. And then your forearms are going to be nice and vertical. And what I want you to do here is you're going to give a little pull, like you're trying to just pull your arms away from each other. And then take an inhale here. And exhale. And then round feel it, like you're going to bring your elbows toward your navel. Take an inhale here. And exhale. You don't need to be rigid here. You can just let things relax and release. And then come on back up. Bring those elbows just back up level with your shoulders. And then go ahead and release. Pull those shoulders back. Open up that area that we just pulled together. And then hands come behind your back. Interlace. 1 more time back here, and if you want to try something different, you can put your opposite thumb on top. So find the thumb that's not the one that you usually use, put it on top and just see what that feels like. So shoulder heads moving back, heart lifts. Think about your little solar plexus. Protect that. Pull pull it in. One more inhale. And then gently release. Don't fling your arms apart. And then this time your left arm is going to come underneath your right. And same thing, lift those elbows up, even with your shoulders. And then give a little pull, like you're trying to just whip your arms apart and out to the side. But we're holding on. You should be feeling this around maybe the insides and the outsides of your shoulder blades. And then we're just gonna round forward, bringing those elbows toward the navel. It's really fine here to just let your spine round forward, okay? And then we're gonna come on back up from where we were. Just release that for a second. Pull your elbows out. Feel your heart lift a little bit and shake it out for a second. So adding in with our shoulder opening a little bit of shoulder strengthening, that sort of a different posture. You're just gonna bring both forearms right out in front of you. Again, your elbows are gonna be just level with your shoulders. And then bring those forearms apart. Elbows stay together, forearms come apart. This is hard for some people. Take a couple of breaths here. 2 more, inhale. And exhale. 1 last breath, inhale. And exhale. If you get tired, feel like you need a rest before I stop, just stop. No big deal. Take care of your body. So starting to move a little bit of space into our side body. Just your left arm's going to come down towards your left side. Right arm's going to reach up and over. If you feel like you have lots of space, bring that left elbow down. If it feels like you're just tilting over, capsizing to the left, then just keep your elbow up.
I sound like a glow stick.
Think about moving breath into this right side of your body. If you want to look up, you can look to the inside of your right arm. Take 1 more big inhale. Exhale, reach with that right arm. And then come on back, other side. Right hand's gonna come down beside your right hip, left arm's gonna reach up and over. Again, elbow down if you like it, elbow up if you like it. And then kind of reach with that shoulder. Reach with your hand rather, and then we're letting our scapula rotate out and forward, right? We don't want to cinch up around our neck. So when we do that, we're just gonna pretend my shoulder and my ear are having a little bit of a fight, and we want to move them away from each other. So we want to keep those upper trap muscles from getting too bunched up. And with all that talking, go ahead and come back up to seated. Excuse me. And then from here, just real quick before we move a little bit more, both arms are going to reach up. Your left hand's going to come out behind your left bottom. Your right hand comes around to your left knee. And first, before you grab hold, hands are going to float a little bit. We're going to use our strong twisting muscles to go ahead and turn our body. Think about I'm turning from the upper back here, and then just sort of little baby, really easy. Use those fingers on that knee. Pulling your lower back in, your sacrum lifts, and just always feel like I'm an Egyptian queen here with my regalness. I'm Cleopatra. And then keep holding on to your right knee. We're going to swing our left arm all the way over like this. This time you are going to grab hold of those knees and pull it back. So again, we're trying to push that alien out of the middle of our back. Take a big inhale. Exhale. Squeeze and pull. One more inhale. And then exhale. Squeeze and pull. We're going to release. All right, so like we just did, your right hand's going to come around behind you, just fingers. And then your left hand maybe float a little bit over that left knee. We're going to use our strong twisting muscles to rotate our torso first. And then just a little bit of support with our fingertips here. Drawing in that lower back. Regal like a pharaoh. And then go ahead, release. Come on back around. So adding a little bit more movement here. We are going to go ahead and come into table. Table's going to be here. Our hands are going to come right under our shoulders. Knees are going to come right under our hips. And just like we did at the very beginning, we're going to take some cat-cows here in our table. So for your cow, it's going to be an inhale. Your spine is going to move into extension. Shoulders move back. Your tailbone might even lift up. That's going to be our inhale. And then for our exhale, cat, here we go, rounding like our little kitten when one of the big dogs bothers her. All her little tail fur brushed out, and then inhale, coming into that cow. Exhale, cat pose. Maybe make a really big dramatic movement, inhaling, and then exhaling. Inhaling, get all your dramatic feelings out while you're here. And then if it feels nice, maybe just start moving your spine in whatever direction feels nice for you. And then we're going to take just a second. I like my knees really wide. Come into a child's pose and just rest here. Stop. Again. Stop before we start again. Feel the feelings. Couple of breaths. And then come on back up into our table. And we're gonna, I've heard this called bird dog pose. I don't love that name, but I don't have a better one, so that's what we're gonna go with. Option A, always leave both hands on your mat and just reach your right leg behind you. Okay. That is no. Seriously.
You both just steal the spotlight.
Intermission. Okay, if you're practicing, just stop for a second.
Come here. This is Genghis. Yay.
I'm gonna keep going
Okay.
if we can get him to be quiet.
I'll just be right
So,
here.
right leg reaches back. Again, keep both hands down. Or, if you feel nice in your balance, reaching that left arm forward. So, think like a little pointer, spaniel, reaching forward and pointing back. And then we're gonna inhale here and just squeeze that elbow toward the knee, exhaling. Inhale, reach out. We're just gonna do 5. Exhale, squeeze elbow and knee together. Inhale, reach everything up, squeeze it in. Inhale, reach, exhale, pull it in. And then last one, inhale, reach it out. And then exhale, elbow and knee together. And just set both your hand and your knee down. Or just your knee if you kept both hands down. And then, of course, we're gonna move into the second side. So left foot is going to reach back. So your toes are pointed down here rather than letting them open out to the side. Keep those toes pointed down. Keep that navel lifted, and then right hand, of course, can stay down or reach it forward. And inhale. Exhale. Elbow, knee together. Inhale, reach. Exhale. Elbow, knee together. Inhale. Exhale. Bring it in. I think that's 3. I'm gonna do 2 more. Exhale. Squeeze it together. Inhale. Reach. Exhale. Pull it in. And then just set both knees and hands down. Wow. Rest on your knees for a second. Contemplate life and dogs, and maybe take a little sip of your water. It's about 2,000 degrees right now. Stay hydrated, y'all.
That was the most southern thing. Stay hydrated, y'all.
And then we're just gonna move on to our front. And just say ah. Maybe rock side to side here. And then a couple of, we've done some opening work on our back, spinal movement, a little bit of stretching. We're gonna do a couple of little strengthening postures for our back muscles. The first one of my favorites, is spider cobra. Hands are gonna come out, make your little spidey fingers. Forehead is reaching toward the mat, and before you do anything, shoulders are gonna pull back, and then chest lifts, top of your feet pressing into the floor. Shoulders are pulling back, spider fingers, spider crawling around.
You're gonna attract the cat.
One more breath in, and then exhale. Coming down.
Where is she?
Ooh. So we're gonna do another one. Are you silent laughing or are you loud laughing? Because you have to silent laugh, because it picks up everything. Okay, option A for your second cobra. You can take another spider cobra, thusly. Or you can do the floating cobra, where your hands are gonna come just alongside your chest, but they're gonna float. And then shoulders move back, chest lifts, using these strong muscles that line the sides of our spine to lift, and then come on back down. Take a little resty. We're gonna do one more cobra. You can stick with one of the versions that we just did, or we can take option number 3, coming into a more grown-up cobra. Elbows are never gonna be straight in cobra. So I like to sort of tuck my hips, pressing my pelvis against the floor. Tops of my feet come down. Shoulders move back, and you're coming up like so. You are a mermaid on the bow of your ship. Hands are actually pressing down and pulling back a little bit. And then we're gonna come on back down. Ooh. Parker. And just really quick, one time, nice and slow. Move back, quick and slow. Move back into a downward facing dog. Just sort of work. Work some movement into his hips. Maybe Parker. Somebody's gonna have to learn how to edit and like cut out
I will.
Everything.
because I don't know how to do that,
Me neither. I'll learn.
but we're gonna have to. So I'm just gonna stay here for a second. Okay, hopefully we have done our edit and that whole mess is cut now. And we're just gonna move back into, just kind of come through a plank, and then we're gonna melt back onto our front here. And moving into a little bit of lower back strengthening work, maybe even bottom, top of your hamstring. So you're just gonna stack your hands one on top of the other for this first one. And again, if you kind of tuck your pelvis into the floor, it gives you this nice sense of low back stability. And then rest your forehead on the backs of your hands, and then you're just lifting. Lift that right leg as high as you can while keeping both hip points on the floor. So we're not rocking side to side. We're just lifting. And then come on down with it, and right into the left side. Lift that left leg. It doesn't matter how high. Think about keeping those hip points on the floor. Bring it on back down. Oh, hi, kitten. Tiny kitten. We should have named her Chaos. Okay, and
Wait,
so
no, we should have named her Loki.
for this next bit, we're gonna lift both legs. So maybe your forehead rests all the way on the floor. I like to bring my hands down, facing palm up here. And you're just lifting, 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 and then come on back down. Just take a breath here. And then we are going to move on to our backs all the way. From front to back and side to side, just front to back, really. All right. So, a couple of really small, nuanced movements that we're gonna work with here. Your knees are gonna be bent, soles of your feet on the mat. And what I want you to do is find where your lower back is probably curved off of your mat, off of the floor. And when you find that, imagine that you're making biscuits and you're rolling out your biscuit dough. So you got your roller back here, and it's each one of your little spine bones. And so you're gonna pull that navel in, lift those hip points, and roll that dough, roll that spine all the way onto the mat where you're pressing your lower back into the mat. You're gonna have to use your frontal abdomen here, right? Like you're trying to kind of pull these together. And then go ahead and release. Your lower back's gonna lift back up. And then again, roll in that dough. The navel in, pull those hip points up, and then one little vertebrae at a time. Squash that dough out. So you gotta have it, you know, half an inch so your biscuits rise right. And then release it. We can't have flat biscuits, just flat dough before we put them in the oven. And then let's do 2 more. Squeeze that navel in. Maybe you can squeeze your pelvic floor. Roll that spine down. Press it into your mat. Feel everything here contracting, and then let it go. One more round, just like that. Squeezing that navel in, roll those vertebrae onto your mat. Press, press, press with that lower spine. And then release. So, real quick before we finish, a little bit of front abdomen work, front core strengthening. We're gonna do like a little, oh hi kitten. We're gonna do a little modified boat pose. Hi, because regular boat is really hard and I don't like it. So we're gonna rest on our elbows. We don't want to dump down into our shoulders. So we're lifting up out of our shoulders, and then, so we have options. Option A, we can just put our little pointy toes on the mat. Option B, we can lift our shins parallel with the floor. All we're gonna do, let's say 5. We're just going to bring those toes, tap, and lift back up. Tap, here we go, and bring them back up. Tap them down, bring them back up. Tap them on down, bring them back up. I'm horrible at keeping count, so let's say 1 more after this. Little tap, lift it back up. 1 last one, tap and back, and then come on back down. Come on back down to your back, and stay right here for just a moment. Let everything re-neutralize, and we're going to finish off with a supported bridge. I'm going to use a block because I have them. You can use a pillow, you can use a stack of books. That might be kind of hard. Soft books. Use soft books as your
That's a thing.
block.
Definitely.
Anything that you can just place underneath your sacrum and let your lower back just this time think about melting. My body is honey. I am out in the sun where it's approximately 1 million degrees, and I'm melting over this block. If you get here, it doesn't feel good, calm down, okay? Don't know how to stress that enough. Meow. Is she under me? Oh, so cute. You can stay here. You can come down now, which I'm gonna do. Is she still under me? Maybe I'm gonna come down now. You can stay here if it feels really good to you. Don't attack me. And then, okay, I'm coming down.
Don't squash the kitten.
Let your spine neutralize for just a second. And then draw those knees in. Give them a little squeeze. Maybe lift your shoulders. Pull that forehead towards your knees. Let it go. You can rest on your back like this for a couple of moments. You can have your soles of your feet on the floor. Straighten your legs out. Flop your feet out. Flop your arms out. Have a nice little shavasana. I'm going to go ahead and finish up. You are welcome to, if you have time, lie here until the world ends if you want to. If you need to get moving, just go ahead, pull your feet in, turn on over to one side or the other, and then come on back up to sit. And my hope is that you feel a little bit better than you did before we started. And maybe this is something that you can come back to when you feel like you need it. And thank you for doing the practice. Okay, I'm done.